Now we're official. So, good morning, everybody. I'd like to call the meeting. I think we're getting a little feedback there.
Get the little country.
I'm a little bit country. I'm a little bit. All right, there we go. I think we're good.
It's going back away.
Yeah, well, so do I.
We just dated ourselves.
I'll call the meeting to order and I'll ask the clerk to please call roll.
Mr. Hartwig,
Here.
Mr. Mulligan,
Here.
Mr. Robertson,
Here.
Dr. Goodwin, Mr. Saldani. Through the chair, we have quorum.
I think Mr. Soldani won't be joining us today. Thank you. So then that takes us to the next item here. I'll ask if there's any corrections or additions to the minutes from, I think we met in, has it been November since we met or was it December we met?
December.
Was it December? Time flies when we're having fun here. So since December, so I'll ask if there are any corrections or additions, and if not, I'll take a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Can I make a motion to approve?
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Then that takes us, we have an approved item there. Then that takes us all the way down to the public hearing, which I will open, and I will ask all witnesses who intend to testify today to please stand and raise your right hand so that you may be sworn in. So, all right, perfect. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in the matters pending before the hearing board today shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. And that means we're now off to the public hearing, which is docket number C-24-27S, Midway Peaking LLC. So if the petitioner would come forward, take seats right up here. And if you'd state your name for the record, please. Just turn on. Oh, there you go.
Yes, my name's Tony Gilmore and I'm with Midway Peaking. I'm the compliance manager for that facility.
Thanks so much. And
Mr. Gilmore, will you spell your last name for us, please?
Oh, yes, sir. Ma'am. Gilmore.
yeah, it's like I said, is it like David Gilmore, like the guitarist? Different, he's got a little different way. So.
Gary Gilmore.
All right, appreciate it. Shannon, I take it you're
Yes, sir.
Good morning. My name is Shannon Moore. I'm an air quality specialist here at the district. Before you this morning is Midway Peaking LLC. They operate an anomaly rated 120 megawatt natural gas fired simple cycle electric power plant. The facility has two SwiftPack FT8 power blocks. Each power block has two combustion turbines coupled to a single 60 megawatt electric generator. The exhausts from the power blocks are each routed through an oxidation catalyst to control carbon monoxide emissions and a selective catalytic reduction system to control NOx emissions. Each power block is equipped with a continuous emissions monitoring system to monitor NOx, carbon monoxide, and oxygen. Midway's permit conditions require them to certify, maintain, and quality assure SIMs at all times during operation of the combustion turbines. Midway plans to upgrade the aging NOx, CO, and O2 analyzers to improve reliability of the emissions monitoring system. Installation of the new analyzers has tentatively been scheduled to occur between February 16th and February 25th of this year. Once the analyzers are installed, Midway will calibrate them to begin operating them to collect data. The data collected will be considered credible evidence until a series of quality assurance tests are completed to recertify the SIMs. In order to recertify the SIMs, the facility has to operate the combustion turbines without the new uncertified analyzers. Therefore, Midway has requested a short variance from requirements of the applicable district rules. In addition to conditions of the subject permits, the requested variance period will be from February 16th, 2025 to May 17th, 2025 inclusive. If granted, the variance would allow Midway to operate the subject combustion turbine generators without a certified SIMs while they complete recertification of the new SIMs analyzers. Midway does not expect any excess emissions. All the emissions control equipment will continue to operate, and Midway will monitor all parameters to ensure normal operation of the combustion turbines. The district believes required findings as set forth in the California Health and Safety Code can be made and recommends that Midway Peaking LLC be granted a short variance with the conditions on pages 3 and 4. That concludes the district's presentation.
Mr. Gilmore, do you have anything to add or would you like to make a presentation?
No, he covered it very well. I just will add, the unit will be in compliance during the operation, other than the analyzers won't be, they'll be conditionally certified until we pass all the QA tests. And then we have a RADA and source tests scheduled at the tail end of it to wrap it all up.
Makes sense. Do you have any questions then from the board at all?
So are you going to curtail your commercial operations and just operate for recertification only? Or will you be operating like for RA or?
Part of we have a 7-day drift test that has to be accomplished online. And that unit has not been dispatched very often. So we will be self-scheduling at several runs. They'll be short and only one of the engines will be in operation probably during that time to save on costs. But it'll still be available commercially during this period of time. But the odds are we're going to have to dispatch it ourselves to complete the testing, because that unit has not been dispatched often as of recent times.
Are you replacing your stack probes as well?
Nope, the stack probe and the umbilical are not being replaced at this time. It's just the NOx, the CO, and the O2 analyzers.
And you don't see any issues with feeding those signals into your emission control system for control of ammonia into the SCR?
No, sir. In fact, the profile will probably be exactly the same, and the operators will be able to ascertain, that the same amount of ammonia will be going in. The relative emissions should be exactly the same as with the old analyzers and the new analyzers too. These are just for reliability. These older analyzers, they're Cisco Teledyne analyzers. I'm sorry, Cisco sold them to us and are also putting the new ones in. And they're just newer models with upgrades and
Okay.
better internals.
So same Teledyne, just a newer model?
Correct. Same Teledyne is supplying the analyzers. They're just newer. Yes, sir.
And Cisco's doing the packaging and the installation?
Affirmative.
Very technical questions.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, I imagine. Any other questions from the board at all?
How much does it cost to put in the new analyzer?
Excuse me?
What's the cost to put in the new analyzers?
It's about, I believe the cost is $26,000, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't seen that. Our operations and maintenance manager handles all that, the costs and stuff. But I believe it's about $10,000 an analyzer plus the installation.
And how long does an analyzer last?
Well, you can nurse them along for a long period of time. I would say the life expectancy is 15 to 20 years. You can replace internal components and have different tests based on certification tests on different components you replace in the analyzer. But to replace an entire analyzer with the new serial number, you have to go through this process. And the older analyzers are just, the performance is starting to degrade, where we're having to replace some of the internal components a little more often. And it was in our budget. We have several plants. Throughout every year, there's going to be another facility that they upgrade the analyzers and make for better reliability. I believe in 2026, we're going to do the other facility, the other Midway facility. It's like he was describing, it's two separate stacks, two separate sim systems. So we're doing the one this year in 2025, and then we're going to do the next one next year.
Did the old analyzer last 15 to 20 years? What
Yeah,
you're replacing?
They will, like I was describing though, it's just the parts aren't supported for some of the older analyzers, and we've had to cannibalize from other facilities that have decommissioned some of their analyzers, but they still have them in their inventory. And so a lot of the parts aren't being stocked or maintained by Teledyne. And they're just getting, I don't know what's the proper word I'm looking for, where they're no longer obsolete. Thank you very much. Yes. They're becoming obsolete, service wise. And it's just going to, and the integrate the panels, the HMI panels, all of the stuff. I wish I should have brought some pictures. They're just really nice analyzers. It's a market upgrade from the older ones.
You're doing this due diligence, there was no issues with permits in the past.
Excuse me?
You're doing this upgrade just out of due diligence on your part to maintain.
Yes, yes. They're in the budget, and my plant manager asks me what I feel for our budget process, what we should upgrade or improvements we can make in the process. They're also, which is not related to the analyzers, we're also upgrading some of the logics related to operations of the equipment to better automate, add some more parameters into, so it better controls in auto the process to keep the emissions under control.
Very good. Any permit issues with Midway?
No. No, none at all.
Great.
If there's no more questions from the board here, I will ask if any member of the public wishes to comment on this matter.
No comments online.
And if that's the case, then I will see if anybody'd like to make a motion here.
I move to approve Midway Peaking LLC's petition for a short variance set forth in docket number C-24-27S with the required 6 findings of the Health and Safety Code adopted by reference as set forth in the staff report. Variance shall be effective from February 16th, 2025 to May 17th, 2025 inclusive, or until Midway has completed recertification of the SEMS, whichever occurs first, and shall be subject to conditions on pages 3 to 4 of the staff report.
Second,
Thank you. If you'd call the roll, please.
Mr. Hartwig,
Yes.
Mr. Mulligan,
Yes.
Mr. Robertson,
Yes.
Dr. Goodwin,
yes.
through the chair, motion passes.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Gilmore.
Thank you all.
Presentation.
Appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.
Nice to see some faces I recognize now. Thank
Good informative presentation there. All right, so that takes us to item, the next docket number, which is a C-25-01S, a short variance with Guardian Industries. And I think we have a couple of representatives here. If you guys would come forward, state and spell your names, please, for us as well, please.
Hello, my name is Nico Martinez, NICO-MARTINEZ. I'm the hot end manager at Guardian Kingsburg.
Hello, my name is Janina, Ganaina. I'm an EHS manager for Guardian Industry.
Jen, what was your last name? I'm sorry.
What?
What was your last name?
Quintiliano.
Oh, wow. All right.
Quintiliano.
I think I got that. I'll let you guys get that for the record. All right, so then if, with that aside, thank you very much. And I'll turn things over, I guess it's Will. Will, is this your first time presenting here, or I don't remember?
No, not my first time, but thank you. Good morning. My name is.
You seem so young. I mean, maybe that's.
Thank you. My name is Will Kuhn, and I'm an air quality specialist here at the district. And before you today is Guardian Industries LLC. And before I begin, I'll just note for the record, there were 2 changes to the staff report under recommendations on pages 5, number 11, both C and D. C was changed and D was added for summary report purposes. All right, so Guardian operates a 212 MMBTU hour float glass furnace with associated emission control systems.
Real quick, can you just tell us what the changes were?
Yes, so those changes were for the continuous opacity monitoring system and for the opacity reporting purposes.
Thank you.
So can you just
Tell us what's changing in C.
I didn't print the changes, no. Not in these.
No, but you're gonna remove C?
C was changed to indicate the full variance reporting period would be included for the comms reporting.
That's sufficient.
And D is just the whole thing.
And D is
added.
indicating that the comms will be used for the reporting.
And the whole thing is just additional, like it wasn't.
Yeah,
in
C is including the time frame for the variance period, and D is including that it's the comms for the reporting.
Okay.
You're welcome. I'll begin again. Guardian operates a 212 MMBTU hour float glass furnace with associated emission control systems. Furnace induction and exhaust system includes a pair of regenerators consisting of checkerboard pattern of refractory. The regenerator absorbs heat to help lower exhaust temperatures to range suitable for treatment in downstream portions of the emission control system. As flue gases pass over the regenerator packs, sulfates and other products of combustion build up on the refractory surface. This is the effect of both insulating the refractory from efficient heat transfer and causing mechanical damage through thermal stress caused by differences in surface temperatures. Maintenance is performed by adding 2 auxiliary natural gas-fired burners, which allow the regenerator to reach temperatures of approximately 2000 degrees, allowing the sulfates and other contaminants to melt away, where they are later cleaned out. This typically takes 8 days of continuous burn to completely clean the regenerators on both sides of the furnace. This operation is typically conducted annually, although frequency of cleanings increases as the furnace ages. Guardian has requested a short variance from the applicable requirements of district rules, and in addition to applicable conditions of the subject permits and California Health and Safety Code Section 41701. The requested short variance would be for a consecutive 15-day period to occur sometime between February 1st, 2025 and March 15th, 2025 inclusive. If granted, the variance would allow the continued operation of the regenerative glass melting furnace and glass manufacturing with excess NOx, SOx, and CO and visible emissions while the work is performed. Guardian has estimated that excess emissions during the variance period will not exceed 2,000 pounds of CO, 2,000 pounds of NOx, and 2,000 pounds of SOx. If the emission control equipment is bypassed, then excess visible emissions could be up to 95% opacity. The closing or taking would be without a corresponding benefit in reducing air contaminants, as the furnace would have to be shut down, whereas the proposed sulfate burn-off is expected to take only 10 days. The shutdown of the furnace would take several days, as the startup would take several weeks, and a shutdown could also result in damage to the furnace as well. The district believes the required findings as set forth in California Health and Safety Code can be made and recommends that Guardian be granted a short variance with the conditions on pages 4 and 5 of the staff report. And this concludes the district's presentation.
Do the petitioners have anything to add or a presentation to make for anything?
Yeah, I'll just add a few details. So what we're talking about here, our nomenclature is checker burn. Okay. We typically do this once per year as indicated in the discussion. We unfortunately were unable to do this last year, so we are a year behind. And that is starting to impact some of our furnace efficiency, requiring us to use additional combustion air and natural gas. Part of why we were unable to do this last year is kind of cost control. So we're really balancing risk to compliance and permit limits, risk to our operations, and then cost control. So I think many people are aware cost of natural gas has been much higher in recent years. So last year, this time frame, we decided to try and wait to later in the year when natural gas cost was down. At that point in time, we then ran into problems with some of our own mechanical equipment as well as scheduling with the contractor. So here we are a year later trying to get this done. So there is some urgency for us to complete this. And also as indicated, our furnace is reaching about 17 years of age. It was designed and built for an 18-year campaign. We are trying to stretch this to about 20 years. So we may be looking at doing this more than once per year, maybe twice per year in the next few years as well.
What questions do we have? Go ahead, Jerry.
Will your operations be curtailed while you're performing this?
No, we are able to maintain normal operations in terms of melting the material to produce glass. We just risk very, very low probability risk of an opacity violation or excursion. Also some risk to our quality of the melt process where we could create some defects and have to lose some of our yield in production.
Yeah, I'm sure you've got.
Recommendation 1 says variance shall be effective from February 1 to March 15th. You haven't started this, have you?
They are actually setting up the equipment as we speak.
Okay, but you haven't started.
No,
the
we have not
process.
started.
So does this need to start on February 1 or do we need to make a correction?
They requested that time frame because they thought they might be able to start it earlier, so they wanted to make sure that they had the protection had they started it back in February 1st.
Okay. I also see that you estimate that you won't exceed 2,000 pounds each of CO, NOx, and SOx. How is that estimated?
That's estimated using historical data. As I said, we've done this roughly annually for the last 17 years and in previous campaigns. So as we've had our SEMS and COMS record data, we've been able to look at historical data to predict what we may incur this time around.
Okay, because I didn't see a mass emissions limit, but I did see a rate limit like pounds per hour. So you expect to exceed your pound per hour limits for a certain amount of time? Is that?
Yeah, so the burn itself will be roughly 10 to 12 days. Typically, it's 7 to 8 days, but again, because we're a year behind, we've added 4 to 6 days just to make sure we can, get the material out that we need to. So essentially, by introducing some more air and gas in a controlled manner, we know the relative ratios and I guess volumes, if you will. So through that, we can run the analysis and have some prediction on what our emissions will actually be.
And the emissions monitoring equipment will be online the whole
Correct.
time measuring those
Yes.
emissions.
Correct.
So you can get a hard number when you're done.
Exactly. Yeah.
And will it be continuous or you have to move from port to port?
Yeah, so we are continuous, but we do move from port to port. So as we move, we have a 6-port furnace and we will be burning on both sides as in the reversal process described.
Yep.
So when we move from port 1 to 2 on say the left side of the furnace, that takes roughly half hour, 45 minutes to move the equipment. And then the same thing on each side. So moving from, 1 through 6 ports throughout a 10 to 12 day process.
And you're using an auxiliary burner, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Does that have its own permit or is it lumped into your existing?
That's lumped into our existing permit. And a side note, we are investigating purchasing our own burners. So we have more flexibility to do this on our own, not rely on contractors. We can also pick the times of the year versus gas prices to better control our costs. So we are looking at a potential $200,000 investment to purchase our own burners.
Is the amount of of excess emissions, would that have changed had you guys done the burn last year on schedule or?
No, the volume we're talking about, the 2,000 pounds would remain the same. It's the duration of the burn itself that would change.
Just okay. Yeah. Because a finite amount just accumulates over.
Exactly.
Any other questions? And this isn't, I guess, a question for staff, and this wouldn't go against the 144 hours. This is a kind of a separate.
To my understanding, yes, that's correct. It does not go against their 144 hours.
Right. If there's no other questions from board members here, I'll ask if any member of the public has any comments on this matter.
No public comments, none online.
And if that's the case, then I will, I guess, see if anybody would like to make a motion here.
I'll attempt it. I'll move to approve Guardian Industries petition for the short variance set forth in docket number C-25-01S with the required 6 findings of the Health and Safety Code adopted by reference as set forth in the staff report. The variance shall be effective from February 1, 2025 to March 15, 2025, or until the scheduled work is completed and the emissions control equipment is returned to compliant operation, whichever occurs first. And this includes recommendation 11 modifications, C and D by staff.
I tell all that works as a Okay, perfect. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, thank you. Clerk, if you'd please, hold the board here.
Mr. Hartwig,
Yes.
Mr. Mulligan,
Yes.
Mr. Robertson,
Yes.
Dr. Goodwin,
Yes.
through the chair, motion passes.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you all. And thank you for spelling your last name for us. All right, that takes us to item number 5, which is public comments. If there's any member of the public that wishes to address items that are within the board's jurisdiction that are not on the agenda, you may come forward. It's requested no comments be made during this period for items that are on the agenda. The public may make comments after each board agenda item. Additionally, state law prohibits the hearing board from acting on matters not on this agenda. So if there's any member of the public that wishes to comment.
No public comments, none online.
Okay. Item number 6 then, hearing board comments. Any member of the board wishes to make any comments this time? None. We have no new business then. That takes us to item number 8, which is adjournment. So thank you, everybody. Appreciate it, guys.